Videogamedunkey is someone I'm sure most of you are aware of. The size and reach of Jason Gastrow's channel is astronomical, and his unique brand of comedy makes him stand out in arguably the most saturated category on YouTube. Video games are clearly a huge passion of Dunkey's. It's right there in the name. For the majority of my life, I've loved them too. There was a time where Dunkey was the #1 voice in content creation for the game I have sunk more time into than any other. This contributed to him being my personal favourite YouTuber at a certain point in my life. Even beyond this period, Dunkey transcended this position to become one of the biggest names in gaming on YouTube. To this day I still watch everything he uploads, and he's been able to maintain me as a fan for over 5 years. However, the Rise of Videogamedunkey goes back over a decade before this. Jason created the Videogamedunkey channel on the 21st of October 2010. And only 3 days later he released his first video entitled Battletoads 1 Life Speedrun. The description read, "I beat the whole game in 1 life without getting hit once." This statement is crushed almost instantly when the video begins. Despite the low editing and poor pacing, it's easy to see the beginning of Jason's comedic style that he's loved for today. He explains away hits as visual glitches, and constantly emphasises how easy the game is. This is definitely a worthy video to begin the Videogamedunkey channel, but it is not the start of Jason's story on the internet. In 2003, Jason's internet story began when he started submitting content to Newgrounds with the Great Yoshi Migration. This was under the alias Meatwadsprite. There's 239 movies here, and clearly video creation was something Jason was passionate about from a very young age. However, my personal favourite creation from young Jason was actually a game we worked on and voice acted in. In this game, Admiral Akbar uses Carlton Banks from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as an umbrella to deflect a missile from hitting an astronaut. Clearly, this is quite silly. This was part of a recurring series involving Akbar which had 78 episodes. One other large series Dunkey ran was Sprite a Day, where people would submit sprite animations to him, and then he'd create a collaborative video out of it. During his time on Newgrounds between 2003 and 2011, Jason had begun delving into YouTube with other channels called JMonkey21 and Meatwadsprite. JMonkey21 was simply a channel for Jason to upload comedic edits, and Meatwadsprite involved Jason playing a game with his friend called Fruit and Vegetables. What all of this shows is that Dunkey has been developing his comedic style and editing skills for 7 years straight before Videogamedunkey was even a thing. However, within its first year, Videogamedunkey would establish many key series. Both his infamous Dunk View series and his Dance Party subscriber specials would be introduced within the first year of Videogamedunkey. In this period, Jason would be able to reach 20,000 subscribers. However, what was most important perhaps was that soon after the Battletoads video, Dunkey began uploading League of Legends content, which would become a staple on his channel for years. Videogamedunkey has always been a channel that includes a humongous variety of games. While most gaming channels now niche down to some degree, if Jason wants to play something or talk about something, that's what he's gonna do. However, for the first 5 years of the channel, there was a massive emphasis on producing League content over other games. This was certainly my perception of Dunkey when I first discovered him in late 2013. My memory of first witnessing Dunkey's content is very clear in my mind because it's linked to a very important friendship of mine. In my first year of university, I lived in student accommodation with 7 other men. 6 of us got on immediately. We'd go out to pubs and clubs together, we all played FIFA together, we did basically everything as a big group. But for the first 2 or 3 months, there was one guy who was a bit shy and would just play video games on his own. In an attempt to connect with him, I asked if I could play some games with him, and he told me to install this free game called League of Legends. This was a lapse in my judgment, and I would pay for it dearly. I played that game for 5 years straight. It took over my entire life. After a month or 2 of playing ranked, it was everything to me. All essence of my being was gone, replaced by an epic gamer. All other hobbies, gone. Relationships with women, irrelevant. My social life, I don't think I saw my other flatmates ever again from the moment I hit Summoner's Rift. But it did do one thing positive. It brought me closer to that guy, and I would consider him one of my closest friends for years and years. One of the main things we both enjoyed together was Videogamedunkey, due to him being the guy who introduced me to Dunkey. During this period, Dunkey's channel was predominantly League of Legends related, and he absolutely dominated the League of Legends creator scene. This wasn't an easy feat at the time, with there being some quality channels like CivHD, Spazzy, Uber Danger, Sky Williams and Kaori. But if you enjoyed League, you knew who Dunkey was. He wasn't one of the top creators for League of Legends. He was the single biggest and best League of Legends YouTube channel, and it's easy to see why when you consider the immense quantity of 10 out of 10 videos he put out during this time. Just listing some of my personal favourites: Slam Dunkey, Diddy Rise, Beer Trundle, the escape videos, the cutscene videos, but my absolute favourite was All-Star Dunkey. This was one of the first ever Dunkey videos I saw, and at the time I was just starting to get into watching the League competitive scene. To see commentators being portrayed as nonsensical, overly excitable by arbitrary plays, and just overall wrong about the game, it was just perfect, and I must have watched this thing possibly 100 times. Not only that, but I used to quote this part all the time.
He's all washed up. He's done. He's out of it. Oh my god! Oh my god!
I think that's one thing Dunkey isn't credited enough for. He's just so quotable. I remember back then that the majority of people I played League with would quote him during a game, and I think
not even close, baby,
was the most used. Whenever someone shoots a shot in basketball, people shout Kobe. And whenever you kill someone in League while on 1 HP, you say, not even close, baby. I'm not saying that Dunkey is as big as a cultural icon as Kobe, but what Kobe was to the NBA, Dunkey was to League. However, that all changed in late 2015. When I first watched I'm Done with League of Legends, I spent the first half thinking this was just some kind of typical Dunkey video, presuming the humour was going to be from some comedic 180 about not leaving. That never came. Instead, Jason documented a 2-week ban he'd received for the game. He talked about why he was banned, which was about telling an intentionally feeding player that they should be gunned down in the street. He also talked about how this ban affected him as a creator, and his overwhelming issues with the game as a whole. For me at the time, I couldn't believe it, and I think this shook a lot of people. Someone who was so fundamental to the identity of the game itself and portraying a persona of constant fun, deep down was having a terrible time. And looking back, it's easy to see why. What made this game so engaging was also what made it so miserable to play. You have to put in at least 8 hours a day to get to a level not to be considered terrible. There is so much to learn and master, and this makes the competitive nature of the game so enthralling. But this also makes playing with your friends impossible without eventually there being some kind of heated shouting match. And when you play alone, you get put in with 5 randoms where if the game is unbearably lost and immensely frustrating, you can still be stuck in that game for another 40 minutes. League is not worth the time sink required to be good, and that's only one of a number of issues. Dunkey brought to light many issues playing League, and I think this opened a lot of people's eyes to the nature of the game. This video honestly killed a part of this game because 1, arguably its biggest personality was gone, and 2, the game's flaws had been exposed. Understandably, the comments at the time on this video were very mixed. Some agreed with his analysis, some thought he was wrong and was just being salty about his supposedly deserved ban. But there was one other demographic of commenter. Despite all of his success in League related content, Dunkey always remained a variety gaming channel, and the viewers who only watched this were thrilled to see League go from his channel. At the time it was hard to know what Dunkey's fate would be. Would Dunkey lose the viewership of individuals who only watched him for one game, dooming him to obscurity? Or would the quality of Jason's variety content and years of experience shine through? At the time this was a huge risk for Jason. Looking back now, it's clear to see. Dunkey didn't need League, but League needed Dunkey. League will never really die due to its overwhelming popularity in Asia, but in the West and especially in North America, its popularity has diminished massively. It's merely a correlation that its popularity in the West began to decline as soon as this video was released. It's up to you if you believe I'm Done with League of Legends really kick-started League's decline. As for Dunkey, it's been nearly 5 years since that video was released and he has grown so much since then. Not only has he been able to shed a game that he no longer enjoyed, but he also has a much more settled situation behind the scenes. Since 2013, Jason has signed with many multimedia networks such as Machinima, Maker Studios and Curse. Anyone who knows Machinima knows how terribly they treated content creators back in the day, and Maker Studio were arguably worse than Machinima, with Curse being the only one Dunkey has spoken highly of. And since all of this occurred, I think Dunkey's videos have improved dramatically. If you watch his earliest Dunk views for example, they're funny and good for a quick laugh while still making some critiques of the game. But now Dunk View has become something so much bigger. They're so much more well put together. There's infinitely more insight into what makes the games good and bad, and the quality of the humour has gone up drastically too. The Dunk View videos are not only excellent videos in their own right, but they have significant cultural impact on the gaming community. Dunkey's channel has a huge reach, and clearly his reviews have some societal value, because as you can see on Twitter with his recent Final Fantasy VII review, if people disagree with what he said, there seems to be an excessive amount of excessively mad people. As I said though, these Dunk views are fantastic videos. Just go and watch his next most recent one on Doom Eternal. If you're not well acquainted with Videogamedunkey, it's one of his best. Dunkey is a hilarious guy, and watching his edited game highlights with some buddies is always an extremely entertaining experience. But I think Jason shines most when he talks about broader topics. Videos like his ones on game critics, remakes, and auto chess are some of my personal favourites and show a much deeper understanding of video games as a whole. But regardless of what your favourite style of Dunkey video is, there is no denying that Dunkey leaving League behind for what he's doing now with a focus on variety content has been a success. In his top 60 viewed videos, the only League video in there is the one where he bashes on the game. Not only that, but nearly all 60 came out after he finished League. However, his single most viewed video doesn't come into that category. And here to tell you about that is good friend of the channel DanSan.
In March of 2015, Dunkey released Ultimate Skyrim. Sitting at roughly 21 million views, Ultimate Skyrim is Dunkey's most successful video. But why? Well, while only being under 4 minutes long, Dunkey is able to showcase a massive amount of mods for Skyrim. Heck, from farting dragon shouts to even Tommy Wiseau as a horse. And the video actually begins relatively tame, but it's still funny. And the video just ends with an all-out battle between a variety of enemies, some of them being mods too. It's just an insane scene. It has everything from the Macho Man dragons to a terrible effed up frame rate into a bear with a guitar that just just demolishes everything. And honestly, it's one of the funniest scenes in Dunkey's entire, discography, his entire channel, whatever, his entire career. And the video as a whole just has a sense of fun. It not only showcases, Skyrim's mods, but it also is a showcase of Dunkey experiencing those mods. You can feel him having a great time while he's playing the game. It radiates through his comedy. And as he's interacting with the world of Skyrim, you feel like you're interacting with those things too, and you feel like that you're having a blast with Dunkey. And this is also evident in his second most viewed video, The Legend of Zelda Donkey Breath. Released on the 9th of March in 2017, this video showcases the fun and the creativity that you can have with Breath of the Wild's mechanics and its combat. Not only does this video portray a similar energy and the same sense of fun as Ultimate Skyrim, but in my opinion, it's probably my favorite Dunkey video, and to be quite honest, it sold me on getting a Switch. Some of my favorite moments from this video are when Dunkey picks up a cuckoo and he fights against the moblin, the bokoblin, I can't remember its name right now, but when Dunkey has the cuckoo and he goes up against this enemy, and knowing past Zelda games, when you fight a cuckoo, a whole bunch of cuckoos come and attack you. But knowing that Dunkey just experimented with this and tried it out, and it actually paid off, it not only showed me that, wow, Breath of the Wild is something special, but it also showed me that, wow, Dunkey is something special. And seeing him interact with the Korok leaf and, hitting enemies off the cliff with it and having, the enemy hit him off the cliff with it. I don't know, it's just these simple mechanics that he, I guess, exploits, but no, he uses them in the game. And just seeing the payoff of these experiments is just such a delight. It's just crazy. Like, Jason was once known for playing a game that he didn't enjoy, but when Dunkey's having fun and playing a game that he loves, the viewers are having fun as well. I know when I watch a Dunkey video, I feel like I'm playing the game with them and I'm experimenting the game with them. Dunkey can make any game look like fun. Even a game that I don't like Assassin's Creed, Dunkey can play that and make fun of it and make it look like a hell of a time to play.
Jason Gastrow has come a long way since he started uploading content back in 2003. In those 17 years, he's developed into one of the most entertaining and beloved YouTubers in the world. Dunkey has become one of the most important figures in video gaming on YouTube, and has transcended his status as League of Legends' greatest content creator. Most of all though, he's been able to maintain myself as well as many others as fans for years and years, and I think that's something worth celebrating. Thank you very much for watching. I'm a huge fan of Dunkey, and if you are too, I'd love to hear about your favourite Dunkey videos and moments in the comments. I know there were tons of other things I could have talked about, but I really wanted to focus on some of my personal favourites, as well as the things about Dunkey that meant the most to me, and also just the very old stuff because I think that's very interesting. Also, be sure to check out DanSan's channel. He makes incredibly insightful video essays on video games with some unique topics. He's got an awesome aesthetic, and I love his laid back persona in his videos. It all just comes together so well, so please give him a watch. As always, like, share, subscribe and hit the bell if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.